The moon was full, casting an eerie glow over the village of Ekuru. It was a night like any other, until the sound of drums echoed through the air, signaling the arrival of the dreaded soldiers. They came with a mission to destroy, but little did they know, the villagers had a secret weapon, the power of the forest and its creatures. Welcome to the Dead Trip, where the lines between life and death are blurred, and the battle for survival has just begun. In the village of Ekuru, the soldiers, led by the ruthless Captain Kofi, had been terrorizing the villagers for months. They took their crops, their livestock, and even their children, forcing them to fight in a war they didn't understand. But the villagers had had enough. One night, as the soldiers approached, the villagers gathered in the town square, ready to face their oppressors. But just as the battle began, a strange phenomenon occurred. The animals of the forest, the lions, the elephants, the snakes, emerged from the shadows, ready to fight alongside the villagers. As the soldiers fought against the villagers and the animals, a new threat emerged: the vampires. Led by the beautiful and deadly Queen Neoma, they descended upon the battlefield, their eyes glowing with an otherworldly light. The battle raged on, with the soldiers fighting against the villagers, the animals, and the vampires. The villagers fought with all their might, using their knowledge of the forest to outmaneuver the soldiers. The animals fought with ferocity, their teeth and claws tearing through the soldiers' armor. And the vampires fought with precision, their supernatural strength and speed making them almost invincible. But as the night wore on, it became clear that the soldiers were no match for the combined forces of the forest. Captain Kofi, realizing his defeat, called for a retreat. But it was too late. The vampires had already surrounded them, their eyes gleaming with hunger. Just as all hope seemed lost, a wise old man appeared on the battlefield. He was dressed in a long white robe, and his eyes shone with a deep wisdom. He raised his hands, and the fighting ceased. The soldiers, the villagers, the animals, and the vampires all stood still, waiting for his words. "My children," he said, his voice low and soothing. "Why do you fight? What is it that you hope to gain?" Captain Kofi stepped forward, his weapon still trembling with fear. "We fight for our land, our freedom, and our lives," he said. The old man nodded. "I see. But do you know what you are fighting against? Do you know the power of the forest and its creatures?" Captain Kofi shook his head. "No, we do not," the old man smiled. "Then let me show you." With a wave of his hand, the forest came alive. The trees seemed to move, their branches tangling around the soldiers. The animals emerged from the shadows, their eyes glowing in the dark. And the vampires, their eyes still gleaming with hunger, stood watch, ready to defend their home. Captain Kofi and his soldiers were surrounded, trapped by the power of the forest. They realized too late that they had made a grave mistake. They had underestimated the strength and unity of the villagers, the animals, and the vampires, and so, they were defeated. The villagers, the animals, and the vampires emerged victorious, their bond stronger than ever. The soldiers, those who survived, were forced to flee, never to return again. From that day on, the village of Ekuru was forever changed. The villagers, the animals, and even the vampires lived in harmony, a testament to the power of unity and the magic of the forest. And as for Captain Kofi, he never forgot the lesson he learned that night, that even in the darkest of times, there is always hope for peace. The old man, who had brought peace to the battlefield, was never seen again. But his legacy lived on, a reminder to always respect the power of the forest and its creatures. And the villagers, the animals, and the vampires lived happily ever after, their bond growing stronger with each passing day.